if someone is just taking money and posting everything that someone pays in the post of that playlist, is anyone actually listening to the playlist for other reasons than to make sure that their song is on there? All right, so welcome to the next episode of the How to Sell Dope podcast. I have a very special guest virtually in the building. Maya, do you go by your full name or?
Maya, yep.
Just Maya. Okay. Well, the goal of the podcast is to, as an engineer, I feel like there is, I'd say 90% of the people that come in the studio, I think have real talent. I probably should say more than that, but a lot of people have talent, but I think the business part is missing from the artistry. So any type of gems that I can give, I want to. And I know that you are an artist manager. I think you manage a producer and some DJs right now.
Yes.
So I guess as we get started, can you tell me how you got into management? Because I actually met you as a manager for another artist.
Yes.
So give me your background. How did you get into management?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It just kind of like happened out of nowhere, I want to say. Like, I've always loved music. I played the clarinet all throughout grade school and high school, did competition band, did jazz band. So did all of that. So music has always been a part of my life. And then I went to college. I ended up going to college for dance, and from dancing, I learned a lot about how music works with dance. And so we would have to study like music classes in the dance program. So that even connected me more with music on like, on a deeper level. And then after college, I moved back to Chicago. I went to the University of Iowa. And so when I moved back to Chicago, I had met the label, AKA Asia and Basha, and we had all went to Coachella together actually, and we were just talking, and they were DJs, and one of our homies was like, you should have her manage you, because I know a lot about the business in general, just from working in the entertainment industry for 10 plus years, and so it was just kind of happened that way. We were all friends, so we were like, let's do it, and I started out, getting bookings for them at different like spots. They've had a couple places in Chicagoland area, Beauty Bar, Duffy's, Durkin. So, some local spots like that. And then recently last year, we got into the wedding market. So we did a lot of weddings last year. It was really dope. And then COVID happened, obviously. So we had to get creative. And so we started doing like a live DJ series called Beauty and the Beats. And so just navigating management and COVID was a very interesting time. And you really had to get creative about how to continue to get your artists exposure, since they can't really perform, and bars were closed, everything was closed. And so that's why we started doing the Instagram, like live kind of DJ series, and on Twitch as well. So I've really enjoyed working with the label a lot. They're really hardworking, and, it piqued my interest, I want to say, into really getting involved with it more, and wanting to work with artists. Then I started meeting some local artists around Chicago, and who needed help with development and putting music out. And so it's funny, I didn't know how that all worked. And so I had my mentor actually told me to read a book, The Guide to Music Business. And so I read that book, and really just kind of learned everything I needed to learn about, how to release a song, how to put on DSP, distribution, cover art, lyrics, like everything you need to get to put into releasing a song. And from there, I moved to LA and started working with other artists, and started working with an independent label called Art Club International, where I learned even more about artist management.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions based off of off of what you just said.
I thought I was on a rant a little bit.
No, you're good. I mean, you gave me a really good background of how you got to where you are today. So I mean, I guess so let's see, where do I want to start with that? Because there was a lot. So you said that you started off just wanting to do artist development.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what in that process, you don't have to give away all the goods, but if you could share some gems, what did you find? And I guess trying to develop artists, because there's in my personal opinion and the way that I understand it, there's multiple things that need to happen in development, right? There's like, you need to know your image, you need to know your story, you need to have a good show, you need to have, a social media presence. So I guess if there's some gems that you can offer me,
Yeah.
that you learned.
I won't say, I have all the answers by any means,
I'm having a conversation.
I'm still learning, as I go, but, I found a lot of artists, especially like right when SoundCloud came out and became super popular and during the blog era, artists would just put out music on SoundCloud and didn't really know how to get their music on Apple, on Spotify, and the other platforms. And so just kind of starting there, it was just like building a kind of like rollout release plan with them on how to like properly release music. Was kind of where I started with the artist development. And then
okay, let me stop you right there, because that's very important. I always preach that artists need to have rollouts with their music. People will literally leave the studio and be in the parking lot trying to upload their shit to SoundCloud or to DistroKid. So let's talk about rollouts. Again, you don't have to give away all the sauce, but what do you think is a proper time? Because I think you should schedule songs out, in advance. You shouldn't leave the studio and release them. But how long do you think that someone should plan in advance before they drop the song? And then I guess how long should they promote it after it comes out?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on, there's no one way to do it, but it really depends on the artist's brand and their development and what they've already have put out there. For example, just this is the extreme example, but Beyonce can just drop a song in the middle of the night without any type of promotion, anything like that, and it'll blow up, because she has done the work to build up to be able to do that. However, an artist just starting out, they think they can kind of do the same thing, and it doesn't work that way at all. I believe setting up like a 3 to 6 week kind of plan is just like, week 1 is promotion. Week 2 is kind of like the build up to it. Week 3 is the actual release. Week 4 is promoting the release. Week 5 is, if you got any type of playlisting or any type of like shared songs, or you got any type of like blogs or article websites, really getting those shared as well on social media platforms. And then, then you just kind of start all over again. If you have like videos and visualizers and press images, that helps as well for the post release. And so it's all about having enough content to make it, spread it out over those weeks that you are actually like getting ready to drop, during the drop, and then post drop. So a lot of people will I feel like a lot of artists and people in general just like kind of post everything all at once, and then they kind of run out of content to post, and then they kind of are repeating the same content all over again. I see like a lot of people, like they'll post their cover art like 3 weeks in advance, and then they'll post the same cover art, a week before, and then they'll post the same cover art like for the actual release. And like by that time, like a typical consumer or a fan are like, they're tired of seeing the same thing. And we live in a modernized age where consumers and fans in general have the attention span of like 5 to 10 seconds. And like, they also want to continue to see something new and improvement. And like, they're just ready for the next thing. And they wanted an element of surprise, but they also want to be like wowed and just like want to know what's coming up next. And so it's really important to just make sure you have a solid marketing plan in place. That is like the like really just where a lot of people like will miss with their songs. And there are a lot of talented artists out there, but a lot of people have never heard of them or will never hear about them because they don't have the right marketing plan in place.
Can you say that one more time? It is extremely important. Did you say it's extremely important that you have a good marketing plan in place? Did you say that?
Yes, it is extremely important to have a good marketing plan in place.
Thank you.
Otherwise, no one, if you can put out a song and like if you don't have a lot of followers or streams and listeners, like there's a good chance it can get lost. And I read some numbers according to Spotify. I think like 100,000 songs they release either a day or a week. I can't remember the exact statistic, but something like around 100,000 songs are being released, daily. And so it's just like out of those that amount of songs that are being released, there's a small chance that your song will get heard by anyone outside of your, inner community. And unless you have, putting money into ads, and like Spotify has an ad program, and Instagram and Facebook have ad programs. And so it's just all about finding, and these things aren't that expensive either. I mean, a couple $100, I mean, it doesn't get you far, but it definitely helps and getting your music heard outside of just the 10 people that you have, that are your friends, your family, that are going to stream it.
Exactly. Because that's something else that I say often, is that, I just had a conversation yesterday with someone. I'm sorry, I'm trying to learn how not to jump from ideas so fast, but I just had a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were having the same thing. Like there's a stigma, I think, with artists and actually paying for ads, but an artist will pay for an opening slot to open up for like a bigger artist in their city. So it's like you get a 10-minute performance, you pay $300 to be on stage in front of this big name artist in your city. But you could take that same $300 and put it behind some ads and show your talents to the world. And it's the idea behind that is crazy. You can never fill up an arena with your friends and family. So you need to have more people than just them. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about a rollout. What else do you think goes into artist development?
Branding. You definitely want to make sure that your fans and your consumers know who you are, what your image is. That's very important early out. A lot of people are kind of just chasing what the trends are and kind of doing what's popular, but that doesn't always translate. It doesn't always mean it's going to be long term. Even if you do go viral with whatever trend is happening, it's if you're just following trend after trend, and no one will ever really get a sense of who you are as an artist. So it's very important to very early on establish yourself and who you are and what values you have and what really sets you apart from the other millions of artists that are out there releasing music. And it's just, and also it's about really honing in on that image as well and doing whatever you can do to get more brand awareness, whether it be with fashion, if you're into fashion or sports or, health and wellness. I mean, whatever your actual, thing that it is that you love to do outside of music, you should incorporate that into your music as well, because it's also important to have other sources of income, especially when you're starting out early, to be able to support the music. If you don't have, a lot of artists don't have full-time jobs, they're just their artistry is your full-time job. And so if you're going to go that route, then you need to make sure you have other things going on outside of the music to be able to have income to support the music.
Okay, so I have two questions based on that, because a lot of artists, I'll ask people that I'll ask what makes you different, your music. There's two things that I ask people, artists, if you were to open up for someone, because no one wants to say that their music sounds like someone, but the first time that I have a session with someone, just so I can get an idea of their style, I'm okay, if you were to open up for anybody, who do you think your music would pair well with? And then I'll follow up and I ask them okay, so what makes you different? You know what I'm saying? From this person, and most people will just say, I'm just different, man. My style is different. But what is it about you? Because I think every individual is different and there's different quirks about you. There's different things about you. But I think a lot of people aren't comfortable putting themselves out there because it kind of makes them vulnerable depending on where you want to go with it. Mm-hmm. So I guess, do you have any advice for artists who are struggling to share more about themselves than just the music?
I guess that's just about more of finding your inner self. And that's really a personal journey as well. You got to really put in the work to also like not only just develop yourself as an artist, but develop yourself as a person and figure out who you are. And that'll just automatically translate into the artistry if you're just going with the flow, and really like discovering your inner self and not trying to force anything, and everything will kind of happen naturally.
I got you. And then the second thing you mentioned was artists that are full-time artists. Once they know their brand, they're able to monetize in different ways. Can you maybe provide an example or two?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different outlets to get other ways to. Wait, I'm sorry. Go back. What was the question again?
You were saying that full-time artists, they don't always have the money from the stream. So once they know their brand, they're able to monetize off of their brand, And so I was wondering if you can give an example or two. It doesn't have to be like a small artist, it can be a bigger artist, but just an example or two. So someone who's hearing this may be able to wrap their mind around that idea.
Yeah. I mean, you can do like merch. Like a lot of artists will put out like different pieces of like, whether it's like Toby Lou, he has his plush doll, his buff baby doll that he did when he first started coming out, and everyone loved it, and like they would buy it, and then they would go back and like post on social media with their buff baby doll, and that was just like really like that's how he branded himself, and that's how he has been, going through the years as he's developed as an artist. A lot of art, like Femdot, who's also from Chicago, he does the De La Creme scholarship fund that he does. And so like he's in the community, and that he gives back, and then they give back to him. So just a lot of different artists have found ways outside of music to continue to build their brand and let people know like who they are. I'm actually wearing a Femdot hoodie right now. It was a Femdot and Liz Flores collaboration. So an example of, an artist like really putting themselves out there outside of their music by, with art and, merch. And like I said, and branding deals, fashions, a lot of these fashion labels are really into doing deals with artists and getting the artists to like model their clothes and post their clothes, and even these a lot of Instagram pages that are like bigger Instagram pages will pay an artist or an influencer they'll send them stuff, and they'll pay them to post whatever merchandise that they have to offer as well. So there's the opportunities are endless. It's about going out and finding it.
Okay, that's dope. You is there anything else that goes into artist development?
I mean, yeah, I can go on and on.
I know it's such a broad umbrella. I want to get a few ideas down for the podcast, but and for myself too. Like I'm trying to. I eventually want to move more like a label. So I've been trying to find different people to work with and whatnot. And I'm soaking all this in as well.
Gotcha. I mean, the right people around you is also very important as well. I mean, a lot of people feel like they need management, like as soon as off their bat, like, oh, I want to release a song, I need a manager now. You don't always need a manager to release music. You got to have the right people around you, and start out with one or two people that support your music and that really like rock with you and who you are about, and get them to help you build that brand as well. So the right team is also very important. Like I said, the right marketing plan. Discovering who you are as a person that'll flow naturally into your artistry. And then consistency. It's all about, remaining consistent. If you put out a song once a year, then it's a good chance that, people are going to forget who you are, especially when you're starting out and you're new. So I think developing a good release strategy for the entire year, dropping something every quarter, especially when you're starting out, is very important. I mean, at least once a quarter. I would do 2 or 3 times if it were up to me. But that's also important as well, is just to remain consistent and just putting yourself out there. And I know it's cold right now, so we can't really be outside, but just like going out in the streets and like going out to different clubs and bars and like stores. Like I live in LA, and like I'll walk down Fairfax and let's just like go into a store and be like, hey, have you checked out my new artist's release? You mind adding it to your store's playlist? And they'll put it on and then, go from there. And so I've done that before, doing different like marketing plans where whether it's like getting a sticker of, the artist's face with all their social handles and everything like that, and just posting that around whatever city you're in on stores and walls and, wherever you can find space. So, I mean, like I said, the options and opportunities are endless. They're out there. You just got to like have the hustle and the drive to want to go out and just really like get your name discovered. Unfortunately, the blog era is kind of dead now. I mean, I was a huge fan of, seeing all these artists come up on the blog era, Rocky Fresh, the Cool Kids, Currency, like, that they all like really they had an advantage by like coming up during those times. Cause like you had like Fake Shore Drive and all these like super dope blogs that would like post about these artists, and that's how you would discover them. And so I miss that, I miss having, now it's Instagram. Now you have Instagram pages have kind of taken over the blog area, getting Instagram pages to post your artistry. Your released music is kind of the new thing now, which is fine, but I don't know. I don't really love the whole, Instagram page. People will like do the whole send me $100 for DM, and like you never know if it's like real follows or real likes or anything like that. So it's just like it's a lot more skepticism, I feel like, with the whole paid promo on Instagram pages. But it does work if it's the right right page and the right person that's behind it. So yeah.
Yeah, because I think that may be a way to go about it. Because some people are introverted. I'm introverted. I know a couple of artists that I want to work with are as well. So I'm trying to figure out ways that, they can do things. You see people like, what was his name? Mark Rebele, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who that is.
It's like a white guy. He does goofy dances and make beats in like his living room, and he does it on live, right? And I mean, he built his following. He probably has over 1 million followers now, but he was consistent with it, never left his house, and then the time that he did, he was able to tour. I'm sure his tickets were probably like $30-$40 a pop. You know what I'm saying? Like he built that from home. So I definitely am interested in finding Instagram, doing like an Instagram PR campaign. I guess it could be effective. There are a lot of scam artists out there though. Like, I would never suggest that anyone pays for playlisting. Like, I don't think that the value is there because these people are just taking your money and throwing you on a playlist. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? To be honest,
I found a couple platforms actually. Submit Hub is one of them. I've used in the past. It's pretty decent. You have to find the right. Like I said, you have to like do a lot of research, and like I look into heavily. If I'm going to pay for any type of promotion, I'm going to look heavily into it. Look into who the person is, what pages they have, what artists they've posted, what engagement they've gotten off of that. Going into the followers and like clicking on each follower and seeing exactly who they are, checking out the actual playlist and seeing how many likes it has and seeing how many listens it has. And like,
so my concern with that would be, and this is just, and maybe I'm wrong for looking at it this way, but if someone is just taking money and posting everything that someone pays in the post of that playlist, is anyone actually listening to the playlist for other reasons than to make sure that their song is on there? You know what I'm saying? Is it actually a cure? I need to do more research and make sure that things are curated properly, but I would want like any artist that I'm promoting to be on a playlist with like artists. So people that are actually trying to vibe out and listen to these artists, they may become a fan of the artist that I'm promoting. That's the thing that scares me when I see pay for this playlist, but I also never paid for a playlist. So I don't know that it doesn't work, in a better way.
Submit Hub actually, they have it kind of set up pretty cool where they have like genres. So like a lot of, and there's real people behind these. And so they'll say, I'm looking for, dream pop music to add to my playlist on Spotify. And, so a lot of these playlists have thousands of likes and listens and followers. And so it's an inexpensive, nice way to start out when someone who's just starting out. To get exposure. And so they won't always accept if they don't accept your music on Submit Hub, they'll refund you the money that you spent to pay for the playlist. So that's nice too. And then they'll give you feedback, say, hey, this song doesn't really fit with the vibe I had going with my playlist. Sorry, next time. And so that's a part of it. It's just finding the right playlist and like looking at the playlist and seeing if your music actually fits with what is on that actual playlist. I try not to find playlists that have more than like 75 to 100 songs in it, because any more than that it's like really you're having a hard time even getting listened, especially if you're low down on the playlist.
Okay, so you said go through Submit Hub, which I keep hearing about Submit Hub, and I hear that they are reputable. I guess when I say playlisting, there's people that pop up in my email, like when I'm like, this new song came out, and they're like, well, promote it on Spotify, give me $100 or whatever, I'll put it on my playlist. And I'm like, I don't know, it just seems kind of scammy. But
no, those are scams. I get those same emails. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would report that as spam. That's there's been a whole like fake Spotify playlisting email chain that's been going on. I get them almost every day, and it's just those are fake. So if someone's emailing you, and you always want to check the email, this is important for artists. This is an important part of artist development as well, is you have to be aware of the scams. Like if someone's emailing you from a record label saying, hey, give me $500 and I can get your music heard in front of, these A&R execs and potentially get you a deal, that's fake. I just got an email from, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna,
no, you're right though, because while you're looking, I literally had someone from Spotify reach out to me the other day, and his email was like earljones@gmail.com. Like, dude, get your ass.
Exactly.
It would be from the label, or it would be from the company that they claim that they're emailing you from. So don't fall for that scam.
I can't remember who it was from, but it was from a label. I want to say it was, no, not Epic. Anyways, here it is, RCA. Peter Edge, who is the head of A&R at RCA Records. I got a fake email from this person claiming to be Peter Edge, saying that for $500, he could try to get me a deal. It's super fake email. It says the email is rcarecords3@gmail.com. Like that's clearly a fake email. Like, so like, that's also like something I want to warn artists about. It's just like, do not respond to these fake emails. The Spotify email saying we can get you playlisting. Those are fake. Spotify doesn't email you saying that we can get you on playlists, especially if you haven't pitched your song through Spotify playlisting. So that kind of segues to my next thing I was going to say. Spotify actually does have its own playlisting program where you can pitch to actual Spotify curators, and it's completely legit. You just have to make sure your song is ready for release 7 days before the actual release, or at the least 7 days before. If it's before that, that's great. But yeah, you can't do pitching if it's less than 7 days before the release. So you can go on Spotify for Artists. There's a section on your dashboard. You can say submit or pitch for playlisting, and you can do it that way. And that's completely legitimate. You don't have to pay for anything, and that's a good way to. I think that's good practice that everyone should do. Just do every single time you put a release out. Okay.
So that leads me to my next question. You said that's a good practice for pitching songs. So, in what other sense would an artist pitch a song to someone? Like, I think you handle booking too. So would you use the same type of Spotify playlisting pitch to, I don't know, a music venue, or I don't know, what other scenarios would someone pitch a song to someone?
I guess it's when it comes to like trying to get an artist like booked for like a show. I create what they call a marketing one sheet, or one sheet for short. And so it's basically, that's another part of artist development. You want to have all of your stats, your numbers, a bio, press images on like a one sheet document that you can just send.
Like the EPK, right? One sheet EPK, something.
EPK style. That you can just send out to anyone if anyone's ever inquiring about you as an artist or your song, or wanting to work with you, or for a brand deal, or just any type of anything. You want to have that one sheet on hand. Always keep your bio up to date as possible. You can go on Fiverr and get someone to write you a bio for like $50. So that's a nice resource to have as well. And then always just having like, I also have a document, like a spreadsheet that I use for my artists with all of their like discography, their songs, their streaming numbers on Apple, Spotify, release date. So that's also important to have as well. That way you can, if anyone ever asks you for your numbers, you can just have that ready to go. Placements, syncs.
Wait. Okay, so now I gotta wrap my mind around this. Why do you need a spreadsheet with the release dates?
Just so you can see so they can have a reference when the song came out, and versus to see how many streams it's done over a period of time.
Okay, I like that idea.
Now, sometimes it won't be used in your favor, but like you have to be smart about it. You know, what looks good, what makes the most sense. That's also important to have those on hand, like I said, for syncs and placements. You know, a lot of music supervisors are really tapped into the music industry and the music world, and really want to work with artists. And a lot of independent artists as well is getting their songs placed on these TV and films. And that is a really good way to get some money and additional income by, you know, pitching your songs to different, like I said, TV sync type of situations.
Yeah, I've recently been diving into that too. And it's the mindset behind creating, like if you intentionally create music for sync, it's a whole other world. But
I've actually been getting more into, I just started working a couple months ago at a company called AdRev, which is like a subsidiary company of another company called Downtown Music Holdings. CD Baby is a part of that as well. And we deal with a lot of production music. And so we have different sites where, you know, we get composers and producers to create production music specifically for TV and film. You put the songs and manage the music on the websites, and then the music supervisors will go onto our website and buy and license songs directly from their composers and producers to go back and use for their shows. That's like production music is really a great another way if you're a producer and can play, you know, instruments to like also get yourself more exposure as well, and also have additional source of income.
That's dope. So can anyone upload their music to that site?
Not anymore. It's kind of switching to a more exclusive platform, but there used to be. But there are platforms out there. I think Epidemic Sound is one where you can. You do have to kind of do like a application type process, you know, there's like an A&R contact, you like reach out to, send your music to them, and they'll review it and decide if they want to upload it to their website or not.
Okay.
But shoot, that is one of the most important things I have learned about the music industry business. I also work for a management firm called Free Feed No Pressure, and that is one of our main mantras, you know, shoot or shoot. And so it's led by, founded and ran by Derek Hardy, also from Chicago. Super dope and super smart guy. Everything that I know, I kind of have learned from him. So I like to I'll always apply anything that I've learned in any type of setting and take it and use it, you know, in every kind of situation that I can.
Okay. So and your role with the management firm is what? You just manage? Just help manage?
I do some day-to-day, some artist relations, assistant type work, you know, product management, a little bit of everything. You know, titles aren't really necessarily important. I feel like, especially in this day and age, like people used to really just like get hung up around like, oh, I'm an A&R, so I'm gonna, you know, whatever. But
yeah,
you know, I think the title is not as important as what you actually put out there and what you're doing to like help grow your artists.
Right. And that's the point that I want. It's not even necessarily about the title. It's about like just trying to understand more about the industry, more about what goes on behind the scenes, because there are a lot of artists that don't have a team. And I think that it's smart, if you are someone trying to assemble a team, that you at least have some idea of the different things that need to be done so you can, find the right team members to carry them out, Yeah. And you've dropped so many gems so far. I do have a question though. What did you say? And you said Art Club International. That's an indie label.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask you the same question I just asked you about the management firm, but what do you do with them? Is it kind of just like a little bit of everything?
My main responsibilities is doing their social media, and so Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of that. I run all of their pages, designing posts for whenever artist has a release. We also, not only is it like a record label, I would say it's more of like an arts label, because we don't just manage artists, singers, songwriters, rappers. We manage producers. We manage graphic designers. We manage NFT artists. Chris Lee, he is a very prominent and very dope NFT / cryptocurrency
Oh my God.
/ meta world, guru. And so NFTs are also, kind of switching the conversation over to that side. But NFTs are really starting to become something to really talk about and to learn more about. Like I was against it at first, but I was definitely like, I don't know about that. But like now that I've like been looking more into it and learning more about it, I'm like, all right, NFTs are really starting to take over. And Empire actually distribution just had a NFT drop. Oh, I can't remember the name of the artist I did it, but he dropped like some NFT type like art. It was like art and like some merch, I think, as well, and a vinyl CD. So it's just like there are a lot of different ways that people and companies and artists are getting involved with NFTs. And I know that some artists are talking about doing NFT drops now where they release a song as an NFT. And again, I'm not an expert at all. I'm just started learning about it. So I'm not really 100% sure how it works, but I do know it's just like
it's somewhat overwhelming to me.
NFTs.
It's somewhat overwhelming to me, but like from what I understand, an NFT, and I'm still just trying to learn. I'm trying to get that knowledge too. But like from what I understand, an NFT can have like contracts involved. There's underlying contracts, so someone can essentially have an album artwork for an NFT, sell it for $50, but anyone who buys that and has like the NFT in their phone can probably get a free entry to a show or something. Like if they wanted to go that route.
Yeah, that's true. And Nas actually is doing something like that. He is releasing King's Disease 2, not releasing it as an NFT, but he's allowing his fans to buy into his royalty rights through like cryptocurrency NFTs. And so you pay, it starts at $50, it goes all the way up to $5,000. You pay, whatever for the currency, or wait, that's not how it works. I'm sorry. You buy the NFT through cryptocurrency website. It's called Royal. And then you are now a part of, anytime he gets streams, you get a percentage of that through the NFTs. And then it goes like at the $5,000 price point, he includes concert tickets and merch and like other limited access to some dope things. And so it's just like, if he got like 20 people to do that, like he's good, And so like a lot of times people don't realize like you need in order to, now going back to like kind of artist development, if you have like 100 like super fans, honestly, you will be good. Like starting out, like you need 100 people that always support your music, buy your merch, go to your shows. Like they say that if you just have 100 people that are super fans, then like you kind of become more successful that way and will be able to be like lasting in the music industry long term.
Yeah. So, okay. See, that's a whole nother question. I'm not even gonna go there. You did mention that you handle social media, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you have any recommendations or how do you think that there's a certain amount of times per week or per day that artists should post?
No,
Or
I mean, yes and no. As an artist, artists should be. I feel like artists should not should. I don't say should. Artists, can post, once a day or 3 times a week. It depends on who their followers are and how much the followers want to see them post and what if they have something you can post about. You don't want to just post, empty content. Everything has to have intent and make sense. So that's a really important part about it. Don't just post just to post. Like have some intention behind what you're posting and how you're posting it. So there's no right or wrong answer to that. People will say you should post 3 times a day or 3 times, whatever. It's like I don't follow those rules. I post whenever it's relevant, whenever it's necessary. I try to post at least once a week. Sometimes that can get kind of difficult. But it's important to just remain consistent. So like I said, the minimum you should be posting once a week. More if you have, people that you see are like, hey, where are they? Or what are they doing? Or, haven't seen so-so pop up in a minute. And so then that's your cue to like, okay, let me post some more. I do think there is a such thing as posting too much, because then I can start to come off as spammy, So definitely, you don't want to post too much and people start to like, will just scroll past your post. They see it too many times and won't even give you a second to look at it. And there's a such thing as not posting enough. If you post once a month, your likelihood of gaining followers is very low, unless you're Beyonce, going back to that again. Like,
right.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a concoction. You got to figure out what works best for you.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I was just watching some other artist talk about his posting schedule. It was on another podcast, and he was like, he looks at every day as an opportunity to present himself to the world. And he's like, you only get 365 of those a year. And he says he tries to give himself three posts a day because of that. And I mean, like you said, it works different for everyone else. I do believe though that sometimes artists look at Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole and their ability to just leave, what I'm saying, and then come back and think that that's something that they can do, but they forget that Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole have millions of fans, so they probably have 100,000 of those
Cult fans. There are people that are just sitting around waiting for them to post. Like people are just like, that's when you can post once or twice, a month. You're not even like, I don't even, when last time Kendrick Lamar posted on Instagram, who knows? Like, let me just,
I'm sure he has an album dropping soon. He's performing at the Super Bowl in a month. So I'm like, he's going to ramp all of that stuff up. And it's going to be interesting just to see how that works out. Cause he's going to post a lot, when it does happen, he's going to post a lot more than he has been posting. Cause he hadn't posted shit.
Yeah, his last post, August 20th, 2021.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that was when he announced that they were doing the Super Bowl, right?
I'm not even sure. It just says new thoughts.
Okay.
So, and it got 1.7 million likes. So
he can do that, but I think there's got to be a way for people to grow a fan base. Because I think if I feel like artists should post more than once a week. I guess if you don't have anything going on, then maybe don't, maybe just, I don't know. But I think
artists should definitely post more than once a week. I'm not posting for artists. I'm posting for like companies and stuff like that. And so like it's a little bit of a different recipe, I guess you want to say. Like,
right.
As an artist, you want to continue connect with your fans, and so you want to obviously have something to post, whether it's like a photo shoot or you just outside or you eating or having a cup of coffee. Like artists can post things like that because it's just like people want to see what they're doing with their everyday life. So I think that is important to also, that's another important part about your brand and putting yourself out there is who are you outside of your music, and I think fans like to see that as well.
Right. So strategically there should be various posts. It shouldn't just be check out my music. It shouldn't just be me in the studio, but it should be, hey, I really fuck with this pizza place. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's important. I think that also gives people more content to post too. Like once you realize that you can just be yourself on a post, or it don't always have to be you trying to push the objective.
And I think the more organic it is, the more it'll translate, and the more people will actually like want to follow you and want to continue looking at your posts and want to like, learn more about you. They're like, oh, it's just it's a mystery kind of almost. You kind of want to like, give them a little bit, and so they keep coming back for more.
Okay. Okay. I like all of that. Let's see. Do I have anything else for you? No. You oh, I did want to talk about the lives. You said that you set up a live. You all did lives with the DJs that you work with.
Oh yeah, during the pandemic, when it first started, yeah, we were doing Instagram lives series, and so
were you scheduling those? Were they timed out like each day they were gonna be at this time, or was it just we just popped on live and
Asia is also does graphic design, and so she would design like flyers, and we would like kind of like maybe a week before, a couple days before, posts on social media saying like, hey, we're going to be on live, this Friday at this time or whatever. So it was a planned thing that we kind of did a little bit of promotion for in advance and tried to like kind of build the hype up. It's hard to really translate anything over in a phone or over the internet, but they figure out how to make it work with Versus. It's turned into a whole production now, but everyone has Versus has like millions of views whenever they are on live, and so I think they figured out how to make it work. So it's just about I think just the right, like I said, the right blend of ingredients to really when you do a live is important. Making sure you do it the right time of day, making sure you let people, your fans, your followers know you're coming on live and doing it, especially if you don't have like a huge following yet. And then also making sure you're not just on there and like just doing whatever. You can do that, but it'll translate better if you have actual plan of what you plan on doing when you get on the live.
And then the title I think is important too. Like you can actually put a title to your live, so it says that you're live, which pisses me off when people be like mention you. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I click on it and I'm like, this is. Anyways, it gets me every time. So.
Okay, yeah, I swear, man. I swear.
I get it. I guess it works, but then I don't usually stay. I just will click back out. So it's like, does it work? Actually, really work? Unless they're doing something pretty cool when you go on there, it's like then you actually want to check it out. But usually, I just click back out whenever that happens.
What would excite you to want to work with an artist as their manager, or in any aspect of what you do? Because you have your you wear a few hats. So what do you see in an artist that's like, okay, he's ready for management, or he's ready for someone like me to come in and assist them?
Yeah, it kind of starts with an organic, natural relationship. I just started working with a local artist from Chicago. Her name's Tay Outlaw. And so one day I just heard her music and I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool, whatever. And then a mutual friend had just kind of said, she needs some help releasing some songs. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I started just helping her, with just doing setting up a release plan and like creating her artist profiles on Spotify and Apple and setting up a YouTube account and just do it because she had nothing, So we started from scratch, and so that's part of the artist development as well, is getting all that stuff set up in advance beforehand, getting profile pictures all set up, creating social banners for the Spotify, Facebook, all those YouTube, how banners, formatting them to the correct sizes. There are so many small details that go into like setting up your artist pages. You want to make sure they all are not identical, but they all kind of flow seamlessly and look similar together across all boards. And having a nice profile image on your artist pages are also very important as well. It lets people know like who you are and, something that's really just enticing and looks good as well. And then so once I started working with her and getting her music, ready for rollout, we just kind of clicked and kind of bonded. And, we had like a kind of a natural, we actually ended up going to the same high school together, Mother College, which is like, that was completely like random. Had no idea about that before I started working with her. So yeah, we just had a natural relationship, and then just kind of started working together. And from there, it kind of grew into like, okay, I like this artist. I like their music a lot. Like, let's see what can come out of this. And, it just kind of happened. It happened really like organically and naturally, what I think is the best recipe for success, when it's not forced or, anything like that. It's just like when y'all genuinely like rock with each other, artist and manager, and then you can really, go the distance.
Right. And see, and that's the thing that I think I see the idea being carried out the wrong way. Like you said, a lot of artists just feel like they need management to get them to the next level. So there are some managers I talk to that say, this artist doesn't show me that they're hustling, or they're not, really trying to do something, that I don't necessarily want to work with. They seek out artists that they feel like are already gaining momentum so they could take them to the next level. You say you have to organically just vibe with the person.
Yeah, organically vibe with them. And like, I love like helping an artist really like get all of their things in order. And so like their artist development really starts at the very root of the seed, like planting that seed, like I said, setting up artist pages on Spotify and Apple, and getting our YouTube channel together, and creating like this whole image around who they are, helping them grow their Instagram followers, and like starting from almost nothing is like, and helping them build it up is really fulfilling for me. And then seeing like people like when they start to grow listeners and subscribers, it's just like, yeah, like
we did that.
So like the organic flow of like starting from zero to like now, Tay has almost 200 monthly listeners after like 2 months. And so I think it's really dope to just help her continue to grow. And we're going to continue to grow, getting ready to release another song in a couple of weeks. And so that's exciting. And so that's what I'm kind of working on right now. Dealing with all the, getting producer agreements together, and split agreements, and cover art, and just a whole, marketing plan in place.
You just said two things that I felt like we didn't mention at all until just now: producer agreements and split agreements. And
yeah,
a lot of people do not release music and execute those. They just drop the song. They don't have like split sheets and that type of stuff in order. Why is it important that you have those things in order for the class?
But somebody can't come back and be like, hey, I produced on that song, I want half of your publishing or half of the masters. It's like, if y'all never had the conversation beforehand, honestly, it's more on the producer side, because an artist can honestly just be like, we didn't talk about it beforehand, it's not my problem, And so like, I want to say it's really important for the producer as well to make sure that they have that discussion. I also manage a producer, Matteo Woods. And so it's really important to also have a conversation, either during the session or afterwards when the song's getting ready to be released, saying like, hey, we haven't talked about this yet, but just, wanting to know what the splits are going to be for this song even getting ready to release. But if an artist has a good team in place, and are due diligent, then they'll make sure that everyone eats and everyone is getting what they should be getting. I make sure that everyone that's involved in a record and song is getting their credit, is getting their splits, getting correct masters, is just making sure that everyone is getting something out of the work they put into it, because an artist is an artist, and they make great music, but without the producers and engineers and the mixing and the mastering, it's just like it doesn't turn into what you hear on the radio on your phone.
100%. So
y'all are just as important, as the artist as well, as when it comes to getting a song ready for release and putting it out.
100%. And I'm gonna ask you just for my notes. And you had mentioned a 3 to 6 week rollout. You said 1 was promotion, 2 was
kind of like I said, like pre-promotion, maybe a little teaser, something's coming soon type situation, promotion, release, post promotion, and then anything else you have that came about, whether it's playlisting or news articles, blogs, anyone else that has shared your song, just reposting that as well.
That's so smart. And I hadn't even thought of it that way. I was always looking to do like find different parts of the song to like, I don't know, TikTok, like do like TikToks or like reels about, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just, I won't say I'm too old. I'm not willing to like,
too old.
Conform to, I wasn't around. I didn't grow up in the TikTok. I mean, by the time TikTok became popular, I was already in my late 20s. And so I was just kind of like, I'm not saying I'm against it. I don't know. It's not, I don't feel it's like a long-term solution to, growing real fans and growing yourself as an artist. But that's my own opinion. I don't listen to me,
No. I think you're right. There was I'm always driving around listening to podcasts. And I was listening to someone talk. There was a girl who was speaking about the same thing. Who I can't think of her name right now, but she was saying the same thing. And the people on the podcast are like managers and, A&Rs and producers or whatever. And they were saying that they feel that there is that a lot of times you'll have like these big TikTok songs where people don't actually connect with the song. They may put the song in a playlist, but they don't connect with the artist that way. It's just the song, or it's just that snippet of the song that they remember, but it's not like having, like a real connection, knowing the artist's story. They normally don't take deeper dives to figure out, anything that the artist is about other than that song. But it does help blow up a song, or it does help at least bring some attention to a song. So if someone were to, maybe hear that song in a different setting, they'll think about, oh shit, I heard that on TikTok, and then maybe follow up with trying to inquire a little bit deeper about it. But like
I said, there's nothing wrong with going about that. It's not my personal favorite way to try and get exposure. It's I'm not it is what it is though. It's fine.
Maya does not fuck with TikTok. Heard.
Not really. Yeah. No, but like Instagram works. I think another part I want to just mention, another important thing that people need to understand is like going back to details. A lot of times I'll see posts and people don't have their promoted posts or their whatever they're promoting their song formatted in the correct way, so it'll cut it off when you like see the post. Sometimes like the top and the bottom are cut off and like it's not in the correct format. So I think that's important to like always look up before you post something anywhere what the correct dimensions and formatting are, so you make sure that everything looks exact and tip top shape. Because if anything looks off or even just the slightest, like, oh, that looks kind of messed up, someone's gonna like that's gonna be the first thought, is like, oh, this is kind of messed up, and then they're gonna not even know what their minds is gonna go elsewhere and continue to scroll or wherever that may be. So I think just details are very, very important. I just want to go back again and say, like, I learned all of this from not only from other mentors I've had out in LA, but also by reading the music business book, All You Need to Know About the Music Business. And it's a really, really dope book. I recommend it any new music managers or anyone in general that wants to know more about music business to buy it. It's, like I said, it's very, very, very insightful.
Yeah. I mean, I need to read that book. I like to listen to things and watch things, but if they have like an audible version of it, I can do something while I'm driving, I definitely will indulge, because I'm trying to learn as much as possible about this. I wanna do more. I've done this. So you said that you're in your late 20s and you too old for TikTok, man. You know, I've been doing this shit since Cash Money was taking over for the 99 and 2000, man. So I feel you. I feel you on that. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else for you. We covered pretty much everything. So
yeah,
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you again for coming on, and
no problem at all.
tell people how they can find you.
Instagram works. You can follow me at Miath3mgmt. That's Miath3mgmt. That's the same for Twitter. And yeah, and then also you can follow the art club page that I manage, Art Club International. And 3 Feet No Pressure is 3FTNP at 3FTNP, 3 Feet No Pressure. So yeah, that's kind of everywhere where I have my hands dipped in.
All right, and I'll include that information in the post of the podcast too. So it'll be on Spotify and Apple, and the little Instagram post that I do.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I go based on